Hey everyone, welcome to blog number 3. I had an agenda for this. I actually wrote it down, but while setting everything up, I kind of added to or changed my mind about a couple of things while I was setting up this currently ridiculous setup I have with cameras. I decided I'd talk about that setup a little bit. Right now I'm using 3 cameras. I'm using the camera that's in my hand, which is a Sony HD kind of consumer camera. I'm using my digital SLR camera, which is a Canon, and then this other JVC camera that's pretty much just like this Sony. I would have bought both Sonys, but I needed another one at the time, and the JVC was all that was there. Usually I'd try to stay consistent. We're not going to, and speaking of consistency, the coloring in here is probably not going to be too consistent because I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time working on white balance and things like that on this video. I'm going to try not to do that on the vlogs in general, just because they're more of a supplement to the actual material. So let's take a look at the setup here. Alright, I'm using this digital SLR camera here, and what I'm doing with it, I've got it plugged in, so I'm not using my battery, which I only bring that up if you have a digital SLR camera. Most of them don't come with power cables and you have to order them separately. I'm just kind of excited I finally got mine in. But anyways, I've also got this plugged into the computer so I can monitor what it's looking at right here. And right here I can drag this area here. This is the focus area. And then if I go over to this other monitor here, we see this zoomed in section here, and this is actually the area that I chose to focus, and I'm trying to stay within it. There we go. And this will allow us to do an autofocus using some of these tools over here to get a clear idea of where the focus is at. And what I'm going to do is do an autofocus on my eye, and we should see it come in much clearer. There we go. So we're set where we want to be set, and then I can hit record, which I'm going to do over here. And this will actually just record to my camera still, which I think is better. It's less you have to, I don't know, the cable would probably slow down the recording and you get a lot of drop frames. I also have this guy here set up. This is that JVC I was talking about, and that's directed at my Android tablet here, which, if I turn on, so we've got that one set up. I've got that set up so that I can show you something a little bit later. So all in all, it's kind of a ridiculous setup, but I've got the tools. Why not have fun with them, right? You know what I mean? So now that I've got all that worked out, it appears that I'm getting a temperature reading, or a high temperature reading on my digital SLR, which means I'll probably turn it off. So we'll lose that angle here in a little bit, but I kind of just wanted to show you the focusing capabilities. You see how out of focus the background is? And let's see if I can get myself back in focus here. I think that's about where I was at. That's what makes this digital SLRs so nice. If my lighting was a little better, that would help too. But it allows you to really focus in on what the subject is, in this case me, and not the protein shake in the background. Or even you can see the camera back there. I'm trying to point. There we go. It's focusing on me, the subject. So you don't get a lot of that capability with a consumer camcorder. It really has a lot to do with the lens that's on a DSLR, which again is really meant to be a still camera, not a video camera. But there's a lot of people using these DSLR cameras to do professional quality work, which I think is pretty cool. This doctor musician guy I used to play with, his son co-owns a media kind of marketing company, and he's the one who introduced me to the concept of using the DSLR for video. And I kind of thought he was crazy and maybe didn't know what he was talking about. But then he showed me a commercial that he shot in full HD. That was, I mean, besides the fact they did a really good job with the motion graphics and everything, it was a beautiful commercial. But the video quality was just amazing, and it really has a lot to do with the lighting and the lens. And some of the internals, which somebody who knows more about the cameras could probably talk more about that. So I'm noticing I didn't shave very well today. I'm apologizing for that. But so let's move on here. I'm going to keep trying to use this camera, the DSLR, until I feel like I should probably turn it off. I'm not sure why I keep getting this temperature warning, but we'll see. So I'm going to set this guy up here to just kind of be random. Oh, lost my tablet. Turn the tablet back on. Now the main reason for the tablet is in my last, or in the most recent series video for building a dynamic website, start to finish, I spoke about some prototyping software, wireframe software, user experience software, however you want to call it, and one of the applications I mentioned was Adobe Proto. And it's kind of a cool little application, especially for being $10. If you've bought anything from Adobe, you know $10 doesn't really go a long way. So that's pretty cool. And so we'll look at that. A couple other things I'm going to talk about have to do with the website itself, and some of the things that have gone on in the last week, good and bad. One thing I'd like to bring up, something disappointing happened a couple days ago. When I came home from my trip from taking my daughter home, I pulled one of my tablets out, which is it's a Windows tablet, and I pretty much bricked it. For those of you who aren't familiar with the term bricking, basically means you turn something like a tablet or something of worth that's electronic into a paperweight or a brick. Now I luckily, let's see, take the camera over here. So here's the tablet. It's actually plugged into the dock here. This thing comes up, and you've seen this in previous videos of mine. What I didn't totally brick it. It still works. The only downside is the display is not working, and that's not even totally true. It's the display is actually working as far as the touch goes. I can touch on it and things happen, but it doesn't show anything. So the only way, luckily it has an HDMI out, the only way for me to see anything on this computer is, which I think my battery's dead. That would be the way things go. Oh, seems like it's okay. So the only way to salvage it was to plug it into this monitor here. So I didn't, like I said, I didn't totally brick it. It's just not a tablet anymore. It's a very small computer that's portable, but you still need a monitor for. I took it apart even, which I usually don't do that kind of stuff with tablets and laptops. It's usually a really scary thing. You can totally void your warranty, and I risked breaking that sucker even further. But what's interesting is that, like I said, you see here, I can touch on the screen down below, and that it affects the monitor above. So it's kind of messed up. I might have somebody look at it that knows more about electronics than I do, or the the inner workings, and hopefully I can get it fixed. Otherwise, it's just a neat piece of technology that's going to sit here and be a regular old computer. But I just thought I'd bring that up as a lesson to be learned. I thought it was attached, when folded up, attached to the keyboard, and it wasn't, and it slipped out of my hand. And it actually only fell about, I wouldn't say more than 2 inches. So that gives you a little insight into how much it takes to brick something important. Now if we come back over yonder, set this other camera down again. I wanted to talk a little bit about a couple things having to do with money and the site. Things I don't like talking about. Everything's, it's supposed to be free, and but nothing's really ever free. It's free for you guys. It's not necessarily free for me, and I'm trying to figure out ways that I can kind of supplement the time, or the income I'm losing for the time I need to put into making the videos. And I tried to use Kickstarter to make a campaign / project in order to kick up some fundraising for me completing the building a dynamic website series. However, they denied the project, and that doesn't bother me as much as what I found out while reading the reason why. The reason why they seem to have denied it is that they don't allow you to have projects involving building a website. So I can't necessarily ask to, or build a project for funding a Michael Jackson fan club website or something. They don't allow that, and I understand that now. Why? After reading a little bit of their policies, websites are kind of open-ended. They don't ever really finish. They require maintenance and things like that, and that's not what what Kickstarter is really about. However, they do allow video-related things and web series. In fact, there's even a category for web series. It seems my mistake was the title of my web series and their seemingly automated or poor review process. And I'm not really talking bad about them. so don't think that. But what they must have done is read the title of my web series and read it literal as I want to build a website, a dynamic website from start to finish. Not that I'm making a video series about that. So, good news is I'm going to try and figure out another way to resubmit it without them thinking I'm submitting the exact same project. Try to reword it so that if it is an automated process or something that they don't toss it out as the same thing, and they realize that I'm talking about a web series. And the reason I want to do this is I think this is going to be a really good series, and I'd like to put it out fast. I'd like for you guys to be able to rely on new videos coming out on a daily or semi-daily basis. If not, just a couple a week, whatever. And that'd be totally doable if I could supplement the income loss, or at least some of the income loss, while I take the time off to do so. And I'm not looking for anything near what I make and what I'd be losing. I think I was asking for something like $3,500 was the goal, and that's basically giving me 2 months to finish up the series, and I was going to also do a couple extra videos for the first series to kind of tie up some loose ends and answer some questions that seem to be left unanswered. So when I $3,500 may seem like nothing, or it may seem like a lot, depending on who you are and where you are in life. To me, that's the bare minimum that gets my bills paid, roof over my family, and I won't lie, the ability to buy Monster and coffee, keep me going. But it allows me to take a break from doing client work for a couple months and focus on the site. And it also, if we can get a successful campaign going, it'll give us a little bit of a kind of foundation to do a bigger project, which I was a little disappointed because some of the things I have up my sleeve have to do with building a website and expanding on our website, and I got to figure out a way to find another place to do a campaign, or I don't know. I got to work on that because they're pretty cool ideas, and I want to see them come through, and they require a lot more funding, and we're going to need more than just small donations from the viewers, which is not a negative thing at all. I don't mean that negatively. It just means that we're going to need some big donors too. But if we can do this first campaign for the dynamic website series, and show the support, maybe even go over the budget, requested budget, which means I'll just buy more monsters. But I'm just kidding. But I mean that, and I'll continue on. I'll go more than 2 months, things like that, if we can get more funding. But what it does is really just shows that we, as the digital craft, which in my opinion includes you guys, the viewers too, it shows that we have the ability to, we have a following, we have a support base, and that will help get some of these bigger backers, which I have some connections and things like that I like to use, but I don't want to bring them in until I can show that there's a foundation, and you guys are that foundation. I can make tutorials until my head falls off, and if nobody's watching them or enjoying them, commenting on them, or anything like that, then what good does it do? So that's the spiel on that. I also wanted to touch on really quick advertising. I started putting ads on the videos to kind of supplement the lack of donations and funding that I have. I don't like asking for donations, and I feel like I've been doing that a lot. I've been plastering that on almost pretty much anywhere I can, and I feel weird about doing that. I know I shouldn't because I'm doing this for nothing, but at the same time, the ads help a little bit because they help bring in just a little bit extra. Nowhere near what would cover my cost of living in order to keep doing these, but it does help. So hopefully you can bear with me. I'm not doing the big ads that run when before the video starts. I think those are distracting, and right now I'm just doing the little ones at the bottom. If you could keep those open, that would be great. If you open your video in full screen, if you have that ability, then they're not really in the way. That helps us generate more income. If you have to close them, close them. You know, I can't stop you. They may be distracting, and that's not what I want. But either way, that's why they're there. If we get to the point where you start seeing the big pre-video ads, you know that we're really in trouble money-wise, and we need everything we can get. So either way, thanks for hanging in there and bearing with the little. One more thing I want to talk about really quick with the fundraising is the reason why I want to push these videos as far as some of the other things. Like I've been talking a lot about live Q&As, one-on-one classes, and group lectures, is a way to get a lower cost and some free, like the tutorials, but the one-on-ones and courses would be, you know, a paid course, but as low cost as I could get. It's a way to get college level education out to you guys without you having to go out and get enormous loans, because that's basically what I've got going on here. I'm giving out the knowledge that I have, that I've obtained over the years, as well as from college, and I'm still paying off my student loan from, you know, 7-8 years ago, and will be for a while, and yet I'm giving my knowledge away for free, and that's what I want to do, is give out that information, not necessarily for free, but nowhere near what these colleges are charging, and these banks that I'll leave them nameless for the moment for lack of the recourse, or to dodge any repercussion from that. But let's just say I don't want you guys getting 9 calls a day from your lender asking you why you're 30 minutes late on your payment. You know, that sounds like an exaggeration, but it's pretty close to being the way it is. If any of you guys are in college and have loans, you know that it's ridiculous. And this day and age, no, this is just my own personal opinion, but knowledge is way more important than a stupid piece of paper, and that is in fields like this. I want to give that disclaimer. If you are going into the medical field, you want to be a doctor, something like that, fields like that, I still feel, colleges are important. There is a need for them. I'm not bashing college. I just think that an individual should have the ability to learn on their own if they can, and use that experience to get a job just as easily as somebody who needed to go to college to do it. It's just two types of people. I've always been a self-taught person. I went to college to get the piece of paper. I enjoyed my time at college, and I did learn some stuff. I learned interesting things. I learned things that I didn't think I would learn, and I'm glad for that, and some of that shows through in these videos. But all in all, I'm the type of guy who, like I mentioned in the last vlog, I'm making a living right now doing something that I completely learned on my own, and making a pretty good living off of it when the jobs are there. Since I'm a freelancer, I have to continue to bring in jobs. But I don't know. I just wanted to kind of bring that up, and that's why I really want to stress the fact that we need funding, and I don't want to bug my viewers for funding if they don't have money. You know, I don't have the money to be tossing around at things, so I understand that. But if anybody has any help or wants to hype up the site, help me get more views so I can get more advertising funds, things like that, anything we can do to keep the site going, that's going to help me put more consistency in on our videos and get these series out and start doing some of the other ventures like the one-on-one classes online, the group classes online. I want to do lectures and labs and things like that, fully structured classes at the cost of, you know, being tutored, not thousands of dollars, and a horrible loan with horrible interest, you know. So that is one